Hello, you're very welcome to our TU Dublin Virtual Open Day. My name is Linda Young and I'm a member of the School Liaison team here at TU Dublin. I'd like to welcome you to the engineering section of our Virtual Open Day. I'd like to introduce some of the people who are on the call with me today. We have Kevin Gahan. Kevin is the Assistant Head of School of Multidisciplinary Technologies in Bolton Street at TU Dublin. We also have Fiona Cranley. Fiona is the Head of Engineering at our Telecampus. And we have Michelle Luby. Michelle is a Senior Lecturer in Engineering on our Blanchardstown campus. We also have three of our students here. We have Elaine. Elaine is studying Mechanical Engineering in Bolton Street. Aaron is studying Electrical Engineering in Tala. And Dara is studying Mechatronic Engineering in Blanchardstown. So you're all very welcome this morning. I think what we'll do is we'll get started straight away, and I'm going to address my first question to Kevin. Probably the first and most interesting question is, Kevin, what is engineering?
Well, actually, Linda, engineering is everything. Engineering is the practical application of science and technology to address real world problems, to actually change the world. Okay. And because we live in a modern world, everything around us is engineering. So obviously the computers and cameras that we're using to talk to each other, the massive infrastructure of the internet behind that, but even things like, obviously the phone in our pocket, the chairs we're sitting on, the walls of the building, all of these are engineered because all of these apply science and technology, and all of these make a huge difference in the world that we live in. So that's, that is engineering. But engineers, to become an engineer, you have to learn the tools of science, the tools of mathematics, and then you learn the problem-solving skills to actually allow you to make a difference, to apply those to solve problems. I mean, long ago, there was only one type of engineering because, the world was simpler and the problems that you solved, you learned your science and applied it. Now we have many, many specializations, but actually, the principles are the same. And in fact, as the world changes, as technology changes, engineering is about lifelong learning. You learn what you need to solve the problems that face you. Okay. If I may just expand a little bit further on that, because some people, they know that engineering involves technology, but engineering is much more than technology. Engineers work with people because the real problems that we face involve teams of people working together to solve those problems. Technology knows no borders, so engineering knows no borders. Engineering is one of the most mobile professions. You can work anywhere in the world as an engineer. And an engineering qualification from TU Dublin allows you to travel almost anywhere in the world to obtain work. And I suppose in terms of what we pride ourselves on, engineers are supreme problem solvers. And actually, many people hire engineers specifically for you find engineers working in the most unlikely areas, in areas like finance, where they're hired because of their ability to apply their knowledge to solve problems. Okay. And people listening to this are probably aware that the world faces a number of major challenges at the moment. Obviously, we have the current crisis of COVID that's facing us, but we also have crises like climate change, we have inequality. But the United Nations has identified 17 major challenges, sustainable development goals we want to solve over the next decade or so. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that as an engineer, you can be uniquely equipped to help make a real difference there, because engineering does make a real difference. You have the knowledge, you have the tools, and you have the professional credibility to actually make a change. And so therefore, that's why, if you are interested in using your brain, using your hands, and using those to change the world, then I cannot think of a better profession.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that. And Kevin, Fiona, just coming to yourself and just following on from that, I suppose maybe if you wouldn't mind giving us an overview of some of the options available at TU Dublin. I'm going to actually share just a list of some of our options available. And maybe what you might do is you might talk us through some of those options.
Okay,
Fiona.
Thanks, Linda. So TU Dublin actually offers one of the largest breadth of engineering programs. So we have 16 different options for you to choose from if you choose to come to TU Dublin and study engineering. If you're not sure which area you want to go into, there's always the general entry, which is on all three campuses. So on our City, Blanchardstown and Tala campuses, you can choose general entry engineering. Then across the different campuses, we have this range here that you see in front of you. of automation, biomedical, building, electronics, and so on. So each of us here has come from different disciplines. So my own one is mechanical engineering, but then what was nice about that is that I was able to actually branch into a different area, which was biomedical design. So I started working with the hospitals and the medical profession to try and develop prosthetics and to look at ways in which we can develop new medical devices to improve the way in which we live. I'm sure many people know of somebody who had a hip replacement or wears contact lenses or has a hearing aid. So these are all where engineers work with the health profession. So that would be like on the biomedical side, mechanical manufacturing, the design and innovation, design technology and innovation programs as well. They would all feed into that product design. So you're developing a product there, you're looking aesthetically how it works, how it looks. You'd need to know the electronics and the mechanical aspects behind each of them. But then, as we all know, robots are playing a huge role now in how we live our lives. So automation engineering has soared in this area as well. We also offer a range of programs in building, civil, structural engineering. So we've all seen the boom that we have at the moment, and they just can't recruit enough engineers to actually fill these posts. So what's really interesting about all of this, the software end of things, the aviation, technology, transport, all of this, the companies can't actually recruit enough engineering graduates in Ireland each year. So they're having to go abroad to actually recruit them. So there's ample opportunities. You can see also in the whole energy and environmental area, looking at climate action, climate change, how we're actually going to design our programs to actually create engineers who can hit the ground running and go into a company and know the language that's needed to actually improve the company processes and how the actual company does business, to take into account environmental factors, climate change, and so on. So the whole area, Kevin, that you mentioned there, and sustainability, as we know, we've embedded that across all the engineering programs in TU Dublin. So there's lots and lots of opportunities. So again, just to reiterate, if you're not sure which area you actually want to go into, I'd highly recommend choose general entry on any of the campuses, and then look at what your options are, maybe after a year in general.
Advice. I think that's really fantastic advice. Just following on from that, Fiona, maybe you could outline some of the employers maybe in Ireland and abroad who hire engineers.
Yeah, so I mean, the employers are paramount to designing our programs. They actually help us to design our programs. So we know that when graduates come out, they're ready to work straight away. So the big players really we would have would be Intel, ESB, Jones Engineering, Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, Google, Facebook, Dropbox. There's just huge amounts, Alexion, pharmaceutical, buildings, electronics, transport, even Boeing, Aer Lingus, all of these are huge, big players in helping to design our program. So the graduate that comes out will be able to work with their companies and other companies as well. So
really, I suppose that key kind of I suppose the message there is that there's lots of work out there in Ireland. Absolutely. And that we design our programs really to hit the ground running and make sure that we're servicing those.
So they're job ready, really, Linda, when they leave us. I mean, most of them will have had experience of working in industry as well, because as part of the program, you'd actually have to spend some time on a placement. So a lot of these companies then, because they're helping design the programs, they know what's going into them, and they want the graduates and when they're students to actually spend a bit of time in the company with them. So whether that's during the course or during summer work, or even then on graduate placement programs, which we have a lot of links with industry on that. But also just to mention, the other opportunities open is the students can travel while they're actually studying. So a lot of our students actually go on Erasmus and they work or study abroad, but then sometimes they actually work abroad while they're studying. So we've had plenty of examples of that, where students have actually gone to different European countries in particular and have got work over there and spent the summer, stayed on there. And then came back to finish off their studies. I think maybe later on, actually, Aaron might be mentioning something around that. So it'd be
great.
Explore it further,
Yeah, and I suppose that's one of the key messages as well with the TU Dublin degree, is that it's internationally recognisable. We are the first technological university in Ireland. That is true. We won't be the last for sure. But you know, they're a big feature in places like Australia, New Zealand. Second biggest university in Germany is actually a technological university, and the States. So when you qualify with a qualification from TU Dublin, it is recognizable internationally. And I suppose for a lot of young people these days with hopes of traveling abroad and working abroad, that is really a very positive message and very key, I suppose, to doing what they're doing.
We work very closely with Engineers Australia and Engineers Canada as well. So we're looking at professional accreditation of our programs. So when students actually travel, we are contacted by the various different agencies to see if our programs are recognised by them. And for many years, our students have been travelling abroad and they're working there, and still a lot of them are based in New Zealand, Australia, Hong Kong, Canada, the States, Europe. It's just an amazing career to choose. You don't know where it's going to take you, but one thing for sure, with an engineering career, you have so many options open to you. You can move sideways, you can move up into management, you can travel the world. I think all of us here have actually experienced that, working in different countries and, moving from one particular discipline that you might have started off into a new one. And I think as well, just to note that an awful lot of our graduates are now actually owners of their own companies. So most of them go out and just develop their own businesses and open their own engineering companies. So great success story.
That's absolutely amazing, Fiona. And I know it is, as a school liaison person, I'll be asked a lot of questions about traveling abroad. Students, will they have that opportunity? So it's great that students get that opportunity to do those work placements and even work abroad. Michelle,
I just mentioned, sorry, Linda, just interrupting you there, you reminded me of, because TU Dublin is so big now and we offer so many languages, so, French, Spanish, Italian, Japanese, whatever is needed. Any of the students that want to actually travel to different countries, they can actually take the language course before they travel, so they can spend a few weeks just to kind of be able to get by when you move to another country. So that's just another benefit of coming to TU Dublin to study engineering. You can actually take on a language as well for a few weeks before you travel.
Great. I'm going to move to Michelle now. Michelle, I suppose another thing that's key for a lot of students who are thinking about applying to TU Dublin, when they get their Leaving Cert next year, is about the minimum entry requirements, and they're always very interested in the points and the minimum entry requirements to coming into TU Dublin. Maybe you could talk to us a little bit about those, if you don't mind.
Yeah, thanks, Linda. So first thing I'd like to say that at TU Dublin, there is a place for everyone, and we offer our undergraduate engineering programs at level 6, 7 and 8. So students can either register for a higher level 6 certificate or a level 7 ordinary degree or a level 8 honours degree from year 1. And the structure of our programs is really flexible. So if a student has completed a level 6 or 7 qualification, they then have an opportunity to progress on to a level 7 or 8. And the progression routes are individual to each course. So you can check out, if you want to know more detail on a particular program and the progression routes, you can check it out either at the CAO Hub on our website, or you can check it out with our admissions team, who would be very happy to help us out with that. And you don't have to have studied subjects such as physics or engineering or technical graphics in school to undertake one of our engineering programs. And in first year, our students will learn and they'll cover the basic principles and skills required to scaffold or underpin, more advanced learning in later years. And also this is helped by our small class sizes. And typically our class sizes would be in the region of 16 to 18 students. So we typically have 16 to 18 students in a lab.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not all about learning technical skills. In TU Dublin, we produce graduates who are equipped with soft skills, and Kevin talked a bit about this as well. So our graduates would have the soft skills required to meet the graduate attributes, which actually are expected by industry today. And Fiona talked a lot about the industries there. And skills they'd be looking for would be skills such as leadership and communication skills, being able to work effectively in a team, and having the necessary critical thinking and problem solving skills that industry really expects today from graduates. And our work placements, our industry work placements, which Fiona mentioned earlier as well, are a great opportunity for students to develop these skills. And in addition to industry work placements, other examples where students might develop these skills would be in participation on many of the initiatives that we run in TU Dublin. One of these is our Engineering Your Future program, which we run every year for transition year students. And during this program, our engineering student volunteers would meet with the transition year students and they'd showcase some of the projects that they're working on. And they'd talk to the transition years about what it means to be an engineering student here at TU Dublin. Another example would be in community engagement initiatives. And our students have actually gone out to local primary schools, and they've run STEM workshops in local primary schools. And again, they've spoken to the children about what engineering is about, and shown them some of their projects. So there's lots and lots of great opportunities for our students.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important message that you mentioned right at the start there, Michelle, that there's a place for everybody at TU Dublin. Certainly, again, a lot of students will ask me about progression, what it is, and how they can use it to the best of their ability. And what I would always say is students choose the level that they're at to come in at, because there's opportunities when you come in to progress onwards if that's what you want to do. And we have many, many successful students that have come in at level 6 and graduated at level 8. And obviously we have lots and lots of students that come in at level 8 and they work perfectly well and get their degree. But we do recognize that there are a diverse range of students out there, and I suppose that's what TU Dublin is all about. It's about that inclusivity. It's about the opportunity for lots of different students to come to college, because what Kevin said at the very start there, I think really rings true. Yes, there are lots of world problems to solve going forward in the future, and to have people from different backgrounds, with different skill sets is amazing when they're all working on the one project together. So I think that that's a really fantastic thing that we have at TU Dublin, and offers opportunities to so many different students.
Yeah.
I'm going to come along to our students now. I'm going to start actually with Dara. So Dara, just to come to yourself there, Dara, now, you're studying mechatronic engineering, but I want to ask you, what attracted you to studying engineering at TU Dublin?
Well, from a very young age, I was had a big interest in the likes of Legos and different toys like that there, and I had a special interest in this type of Lego that you could add motors and battery packs to, and I really enjoyed them. So little did I know that this was kind of the start of my engineering career path, you might say. So whenever I went to secondary school, then I enjoyed the more practical subjects like DCG, woodwork, and engineering. And on top of that, I loved working with numbers and physics and math. So it was only a matter of time before I went into engineering. So whenever I was going to research and where I was going, like as in going to open day, looking up on the CAO and all that, we went to an open day down in TUD out in Blanchardstown, and they did a demonstration on the course mechatronics, which they teach there. And in this course, they showed different projects they do and different things. And from the get-go, this interested me. And from that, I went home and I researched what TUD was all about. And from that, I found that the class sizes were actually quite small, and that would be ideal for, in my opinion, for getting a good learning and good application of learning. Like, so from a very young age, it probably would have been influenced from my father. My father would be a apprentice fitter in a factory in Killybegs, so that would be in South Donegal, and so he would be in deep with a lot of engineering practices and different applications of that. So on top of that, then from researching, I found that mechatronics is actually a very good career and has very good prospects. And not only does it have good prospects, but it has very good international prospects. So if it's a case that you want to travel or you want to work or study somewhere else in the world, it's very possible with the degree you would obtain from TU Dublin.
Okay. And Dara, what advice would you give to students think about studying engineering at TU Dublin now, considering the broad range of options that they have? What would be your best piece of advice for them?
Yeah, well, I can only really speak for mechatronics, but in mechatronics is interesting because it has a wide variety. Like mechatronics basically includes mechanical engineering, electronic, and a bit of software, and it all just combines into one lovely course. And what I would say was maybe if you knew someone in the field, or if you knew an engineer, maybe a relative or a friend of the family or something like that, or even someone outside, maybe you just have contact details for someone in Intel or somewhere like that. Maybe if you got in contact with them to see what they do and whether you'd be interested in that or not. And if not, there's loads of options. Like you're never limited to what your options are. And the good thing about TU Dublin is that a lot of the modules are project-based learning. So this would include a lot of CAs. And what I didn't know whenever I went to college was that it's not the same as secondary school. It's not about the big test at the end. Like it's you're gradually building up marks the whole way through the semester. Like so you're
that's very different to school, isn't it, Dara?
Yeah, it's quite different. Like, but you get used to it. Like, but so in regards to college, like it has a load of different equipment. Like, you know, you kind of get shocked whenever you go on at the start. Like, but like they would have like 3D printers or CNC machines. They really do anything you need really. And from that, then like you do with my course in particular, you do projects throughout. And in second year, we would have done weighing scales, which was quite interesting how it worked and different things about it. And then in third year, we progressed on to making well, we got the choice. And for my choice, I chose to make a fully functioning elevator. So that along came with its own problems, but it was quite interesting to figure out how it worked and how to assess them problems.
Okay, Dara, thank you very much. I'm going to move to Elaine now. Elaine, so I want to know why you chose engineering as your pathway or as your career.
Well, just like Dara, I've always wanted to be an engineer from a very young age. My family, my friends, and even my primary school teachers are actually aware of what I wanted to do during college. My primary teachers would usually bring to school like certain games, like building games, and I would then bring my friends along with me to just finish it off before break ends. And I also liked fixing things myself. Like at a young age, I used to have, I still remember this, I used to have one favorite watch of mine, and one of the straps broke. And before I went to my dad, I tried to figure out what was missing and what was broken. And so I just enjoy building and taking things apart and figuring out how things work. Each of the products.
You sound like you are the perfect candidate for engineering. You're good at problem solving, Elaine, by the sounds of things, and you really enjoy it. And I think that's one thing that really helps, that you enjoy something. Elaine, what do you like about studying at TU Dublin, would you say?
Well, firstly, TU Dublin has a great reputation and has great qualifications. That has a big role in technological and business education in Ireland. And as well as this, then I also like the small classes, which then enables the students to build a good relationship with their lecturers, as well as get enough help and guidance from them that they need. And another thing is that they have a practical approach in engineering studies. So like I said, at a young age, I always liked building things. And so when I was applying for colleges, then I was looking for places that offer hands-on and more practical work instead of mostly theoretical. And TU Dublin is the college that offered this. So that's why I chose TU Dublin.
Practical approach, and I think a lot of students really value that practical aspect of college, because there's as many people that they like to be up and they like to kind of learn as they work. And I think it is a fantastic opportunity at TU Dublin, that you get to be very hands-on, very applied, in what you're doing. Elaine, I understand that, you know, as a female student, you took part in our esteem initiative. Now, our esteem initiative is for female engineering students, and it's a mentoring program. Can you tell us a little bit about that initiative, please?
Yeah, well, everyone probably knows that engineering is a male-dominated course, and as a student who came from an all-girls school from primary to secondary school, it was a hard choice for me picking engineering, even though it was like it was an interesting course for me. But the STEAM program really helped me, as it was a great place. It's the STEAM meetings was a great place to meet fellow female students like myself in engineering as well as computing.
Okay.
And I also was able to meet then female engineers who are working in the industry right now, from certain like companies like Arup, Schneider, SAP, Amazon, and other companies as well. And the female engineers then we were assigned a mentor for the whole year, and during the STEAM meetings as well, we got to learn from the female engineers' experiences throughout their careers, how they applied the skills that they learned in third level into their workplaces, as well as the different job opportunities, as well as travel opportunities that they got.
Okay.
And that like the one thing that I learned from those meetings was, if like say you pick mechanical engineering as your main kind of engineering choice, that's not the end all for it. Like it will still branch out as you work in the industry, and different job opportunities will come, and the type of engineering that you're going to do won't just stay the same.
Okay. Well, I'd say that was a fantastic program to be a part of, and to meet those very successful female engineers, and to kind of get some advice from them. So thank you, Elaine. I'm going to come to Aaron, last but not least. Aaron, so why did you choose to study electronic engineering at TU Dublin then, Aaron? So Aaron, we're just having a little bit of trouble with your sound there. We can't hear you, I'm afraid.
You may be muted, Aaron.
I think he's okay there. No? Okay, Aaron, we might leave you first. We can hear you now, yeah. Okay, so why did you choose electronic engineering at TU Dublin? Look how good you are at fixing things.
Yeah, I got to. I chose electronic engineering. I wanted to go with engineering first of all, and I wasn't too sure which branch to select. Okay. So I was considering the common entry or general entry into engineering first, but I went to a few open days across campuses, and in TU Dublin Tala campus, I got a chance on the open day to go to see what the classes were doing. Okay. And I managed to walk into an electronics lab, and I saw how the class happened. It was a very small class, but the lectures were very hands-on, explaining exactly how things work. And that got me very interested. And as I went through all the labs, the electronic aspect became very, very interesting to me.
Right.
So that's why the electronic side, and I have software, networking. You have many aspects you can branch out in electronics itself. So even though I wanted electronics, I didn't know exactly where in electronics, but I knew I could start there.
I get you. Okay, and maybe tell me a little bit about some of the projects that you worked on as part of your study at TU Dublin, Aaron.
I worked on many projects over the years. For example, small projects in first year and second year, you started off, we built a microchip in the clean room. The Tala campus has a semi-fab on campus. So we got experience how a clean room operates. And we got smaller Arduino software development projects. I had a chance to work on electric go-kart with the electric vehicle. And we also, on our final year, we got lucky few students got a chance to go to Shanghai to work on the elevator project, which was a great experience, and everything builds up very well. So projects can be software or they can be very much hardware based. It has a good range and you get a good exposure to everything as you go.
Okay, so you really enjoyed that, Aaron, I'd say, working on that project. What sort of work do you do now, Aaron?
Now I'm actually more involved in consulting. So I work on many different projects, mainly around telecommunications. So I work with companies such as Air, BT, Virgin Media, and the big thing now with 5G rolling out their infrastructure, and people are often talking about how you get fiber connection to your house.
Okay.
So how that infrastructure happens now, and you'd be surprised on one project how much experience you get on just one small project.
Okay. And what did you work on, or what do you do outside of your university lectures? We haven't talked much about this whole social side of college, which is massive, really. So what do you do outside of your lectures, Aaron?
The outside lectures was a huge part of the experience. At first year, you're always encouraged to do societies, and I do understand why. Myself, I joined the Radio Society, which it's different. I didn't know what it'd be like, and we got exposure to how to broadcast equipment, how to run a radio broadcast. It's different, and you get to meet people in different branches of the courses, both in engineering, in business, in other areas of the college, and we got a chance to work with other campuses as well, which is fantastic. I joined the Engineering Society just to see other departments mainly, which was fantastic. And I did some sports at rugby as well, so there's also a good sports infrastructure there as well. There's a lot of activities. The student union run a lot of activities as well, try and put in and get you going. So that's a good outside the
nice start. Yeah, and I would say to any students coming to college next year to definitely get involved in societies. It will just get you to know some friends that are like similar things to you, and it's a great place to help you settle in. We've come to the end of our discussion for this morning on engineering at TU Dublin. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Thanks to our panel this morning for giving us all of that information. I would encourage you to have a look into our CAO hub. You can find that at tudublin.ie/CAO, and you can have a look through all of the different disciplines and the different options that we have at TU Dublin. In terms of the talking to our lecturers here at TU Dublin, you can talk to lecturers at TU Dublin here today on our Pubble chat. So all of our lecturers are available to talk to you about specific courses. You can chat to them about the specifics of electrical, mechanical, mechatronic, whichever one you're interested in. Again, we'd like to thank you for joining us. If you have any questions at any stage over the next couple of weeks and months, please talk to our admissions team. They are available on live chat all day during business hours. So we'd like to thank you for joining us again, and good afternoon. Bye-bye.